everybody. Welcome back. It's Dwayne and Stewart here at the Game Nexus, and today we're kicking off, excuse the pun, our first episode of Momentous Knockdown. It's a little segment series that is going to be us talking about Guild Ball and all the fun stuff and all the news and just opinions, you name it, Guild Ball oriented. So today, Stewart's going to take us on a little walkthrough of some very exciting stuff coming out in the form of a new team.
Yes.
And
so
that is
the Blacksmiths.
right.
So we've been getting a lot of news coming out of the Steamforge blog. They've released sort of an overview of the team in 4 players. Now we have like a mock-up of what the box is going to look like. 2 of the miniatures are blacked out.
And unpainted sculpts.
And the renders, yes.
Yeah. So there's no pictures that we've seen yet with painted sculpts.
No.
Okay.
So they've released basically the model and the cards for 2 masters and 2 apprentices. And I think one of the coolest things I've found about this game is how each team kind of embodies and epitomizes one kind of ethos. They're all themed. Everything plays differently.
And it all, like, their themes, from what I found at Guild Ball, new to Guild Ball, is they really make the theme of the guild, and like they're really ingrained in the players. Like when you look at their stats and you look at their abilities, it's like all about that guild.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really well done.
And they've put so much effort into making each team play differently, and to that end, the Blacksmiths are going to be the first team that are not going to have a traditional captain mascot 4-player roster.
Right, because they got apprentices and
they have masters and apprentices. One master becomes your team captain, and that's it. They don't have a mascot.
Now, one of the things I noticed, and you briefly showed me, is that, and I've noticed this, is that the artwork is superficial, mind you, but the artwork on these cards are getting better. Like I noticed the first run I've seen, and then now the new artwork is like really vibrant, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And it pulls you in. Just in case you're wondering, this guild is just amazing. I've just seen some early pictures. Definitely in love with it already.
Oh yeah.
Just the aesthetic, the swords, the bows, the armors, the hammers. Yeah.
Yeah, they're the Blacksmiths.
Yeah.
So we've got 4 players. We've got Anvil, Cinder, Furnace, and Sledge.
Right.
That have been released, and we have cards for them, and I'm just going to sort of run through the information we have on that, and later on, probably closer or maybe after Gen Con or maybe even SteamCon, we will have a catch-up video that'll have the last couple fun facts about this guild.
And you're thinking we're not getting these anytime in the next couple months?
Well, we'll get them. Companies always save these kinds of things for conventions,
right? Big
trade shows, stuff like Gen Con or SteamCon,
right?
Where they can, make ripples in the community and whatnot.
Yeah.
And what they're giving us right now is to prime us, getting everybody super stoked about Blacksmiths.
And off topic, but farmers are coming as well. So will these beat the farmers to the market, or the farmers are coming first?
Farmers are coming much
sooner. Okay, excellent. Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah, I'll be lots of time to save up for these guys then.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So who do we have kicking off the roster?
So to kick off, we have Anvil.
Okay.
So Anvil is our first player we got a look at. He's a master, so he has the potential to be that captain. And he's got some good buffs with his with apprentice models on the team, including Sentinel. It's a 1-inch aura, granting +1 armor to apprentices within that. So it is quite close, but it's still pretty awesome when you consider that I think every model we've seen so far has at least 1 point of armor.
Yeah, and so these guys are 2, right? Across the board for the most part that I've seen?
Everything has at least 1 point of armor.
At least 1, okay.
Yeah.
I thought they were 2 default, but...
No. And his... if he's a captain, grants an additional tough hide to apprentices within 6 inches, meaning -1 damage, which is great. So he's base arm 3, himself.
Yeah.
Which is the highest we've seen so far.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy.
An attack of 6, so he can really hold his own.
That's nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's charging on 10 dice.
Yeah, and easy access to knockouts and lots of damage.
Right. What was this guy's weapon? Sorry, this is the...
Anvil is the guy with the shield and the hammer.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he kind of looks like a dwarf.
Mm-hmm.
Next up, we have Cinder.
Right, I've seen her.
So she is the newest apprentice model that we've seen, and she has just some amazing ball threat. So for a single influence, she can make a character play called Kill the Ball. So a open ball marker within 6 inches is removed from play, and then the Blacksmiths perform a goal kick for 1 point.
Yeah.
That's stupid awesome.
And she has a ranged weapon as well.
Yes, I think so.
A crossbow.
She has a crossbow, yeah.
Okay.
So she's also got a move of 6-8 and a kick of 3 and 8. So if you were able to basically just bounce that ball that's getting way too close to your goal up to her, suddenly she's able to get it 16 inches up the pitch.
Yeah.
You know?
With an 8-inch move.
Yeah. It's pretty wicked. Our next model that we were given access to is Furnace. He's the other captain. He is probably going to be your brawling captain, I would imagine, from what we've seen so far. So he has Searing Strike, which means that all of his damage results cause -1 arm and burning.
Yeah, and he's got immunity to burn?
Yes, the first burn he gets, he removes it. It's a -2/2 move.
Who's dealing burn damage besides these guys?
Lots of alchemists.
Okay.
Stuff like that.
Sure, okay.
Yeah. Then his legendary play grants Searing Strike to anybody within 6 inches of him, friendly guild models within 6 inches of him, if he's the captain, though, right? And that's on all the master cards. There's a separate paragraph in their legendary play that's going to list a power that's conditional on them being the captain. So your team is probably going to be made up of half masters, half apprentices, right? And you're going to have to pick at the beginning which buff you're going to pick. So it adds a really interesting meta to that. Normally, at a tournament, you're going to be looking at a roster of 10 models that your players brought, and each player is going to blind pick a captain, a mascot, and 4 players, right? But suddenly, you're looking across the table, and he's got 5 potential captains.
Right.
Right? He's still going to have to blind pick, but that extra bit of decision, like the uncertainty, rather, of who is going to be his captain is so much broader with the Blacksmiths.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's going to be exciting to see them enter competitive play in Season 4.
I can see a potentially incoming errata and potential griefing and players who are concerned about that sort of stuff.
There might be some grief.
Side. Yeah.
Yeah, there might be.
We won't know until it goes into the wild and actually starts, players start using it. Yeah.
Exactly. Then he also has Sentinel. And his legendary, whether he's the captain or not, will basically grant that same +1 arm to him. And he can cast a 3-inch AoE that removes crowded out and ganging up conditions within that 3-inch AoE. And he has the tooled up character play as well, which is going to allow him to give other models more damage. Then our last, but certainly not least, and one of the 2 that was teased first.
And my favorite,
and
an early glance,
personal favorite,
and you'll know why in a second.
Sledge.
Yes.
Sledge is your bruiser.
AKA Thor.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
So cool.
Yeah.
So he's got an apprentice, and he has a lot of synergy with Anvil, who he was teased with at the same time. So if he's within 6 inches of Anvil, Sledge may use a single character play on his card without spending any momentum. Additionally, everything he has when he does damage has knockback, which is that 1-inch push followed by a 1-inch dodge directly towards that model.
And that's probably to do with the hammer.
Yes. So for character plays, a single point or a playbook result can be used with this non-once per turn character play called Pile Driver.
Yeah.
Which grants an additional net 3 hits. That's after armor has been applied. And he's getting a knockdown on 4 hits and a momentous knockdown on 6. And at a base 5, you can just do the math.
Yeah.
He's going to have quite a lot of potential to just be knocking the shit
So
out.
technically, this guy on a wrap can do 11 points of damage. He's got a 4 plus a 7 at the tail end.
Yeah, his 7.
His
7th playbook result is 7 momentous damage.
So he could literally, if he does a wrap, could pretty much nail 11 points off a player.
Yeah, it would be hard, but he could do it.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean,
and that's just on one.
Yeah.
One attack.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you load this guy up with influence, and he starts wailing on somebody.
Yeah. So if you have Sledge within 6 inches of Anvil, suddenly he's able to do that for 0 points.
Yeah.
So his charge attack perhaps is, 9 dice, hitting on whatever's plus 3 net
minimum
hits.
Yeah, 3 net hits after armor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just bueno.
It's a Thor.
Yeah.
Minus the lightning.
Yeah. And his single point long bomb makes his kick 310, and it's impossible to intercept.
Yeah.
So, possibly some interplay between Cinder and Sledge, right? And all of these models, plus the 2 we don't know yet, are all going to be in the starter set. So you are going to see these guys on the field minimum for probably the first half of Season 4 at the very least.
Right.
These guys will be there.
I think they're going to make a lot of waves when they hit because
they play so differently.
Yeah, they're aggressive and heavy hitting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
Not a lot of finesse, but
No.
some strategy in how you use them together.
Mhm. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And the models are pretty amazing.
Yeah, the models, everything coming out of Steamforged is fantastic. From what we know and can guess, they are moving to the single piece plastic models, which most players are aware of that transition. With the Farmers Guild are going to be coming out like that.
Single piece, like the
Plastic,
box set.
like the box set,
Yeah.
starter box set.
Yeah, all
You'll
one
be getting,
sculpt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So instead of buying one 3-man starter set and then like 7 single models,
Right.
teams are going to be consisting of basically 2 6-man box sets
Right.
from now on. So that'll be probably about $100 Canadian.
Right.
So I'm really excited to see how maybe in maybe 5 years, maybe, when all these teams have transitioned to that and people can go and play a demo game and be like, this game is fucking awesome, and just go and pick up a box set, open it up, and
then
play a
go to play.
game.
Yeah. Yeah. No assembly required.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And one criticism I would have of the game at this point is some of the models lack that intuitive construction element that you see with stuff like Games Workshop or even Corvus Belli models, where it's like the peg only goes in a certain way.
Yeah.
I've had a lot of frustrating
misassembles?
evenings with Guild Ball models where I'm like, what is going on?
Yeah.
Right? Everything about the game is amazing. The models are fantastically well detailed, but require a little bit more than like a novice entry level
For assembling.
construction.
So the single mold is going to definitely alleviate a lot of
Plus the models are of incredible quality
Yeah.
that they've been pumping out at the starter set. They're just amazing. Yeah.
Good. Well, I'm pretty excited for this new faction, and actually I'm going to be saving some money for it because I think I found my new team. So we won't have them on the table for a while.
Yep.
But they're coming, and thank you again for tuning in.
Yep.
We're gonna have more of the momentous knockdowns in the future, talking about other stuff Guild Ball related. Make sure you hit us up at enterthegamenexus.com, YouTube channel as well. Subscribe, like, and keep coming back. So
yeah.
thanks again, guys.